Okay, I think we're ready.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
It's Christine and Tina with Ladies of the Lanai, back on Tina's Lanai. And we have a very special guest with us today. If you don't already recognize him, maybe you might need to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Don Wiley, and I run the YouTube channel Gold Wingnut.
All right. Thanks for coming, Don.
Thank you very much for having
And
me.
so we're
ladies.
going to do Ask a Villager, and at the end, just so everybody knows, at the end we're going to ask some more questions about his channel and things like that.
Right.
So.
So, Don, tell everyone here, what village do you live in
Right now, I live in the village of Hillsborough.
right now?
Yeah, are you plan on moving?
That's a tough one. Yeah, I have a second house in Moultrie Creek. My wife is moving there.
Oh,
I've just rented an apartment over in the wilds because I have to live within my district as a county
I
commissioner.
see.
Oh.
So being apart is not a big deal for Debbie and I because I was in the Navy for 20 years. I mean, we were married 2 weeks and I was gone underwater for 3 months. Didn't speak to each other for most of the first 3 months of our marriage.
Oh, wow.
And we did that 18 times over
Wow.
the first 20 years of our marriage. So the good thing is she'll get more sleep because she doesn't have to listen to me snore, and I'll get more sleep because I don't have to listen to her snore. But
and you have your alone time.
yeah.
Okay.
The big downfall is I'm going to miss my dogs because I don't get to see them as much.
Oh.
You have to do shared custody.
Or visit often.
Yeah,
which
I
I'm
will
sure
visit.
you do.
I will visit very often.
Okay. And right before you moved to the villages, where did you live?
I lived in a little town called Haines City. It's actually the third largest city in Polk County. Polk County is where Winter
Is that
Haven-
Florida?
Florida.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I wasn't sure.
27 that goes through Lady Lake. If you follow that south, it's going to cross I-4, and about 10 miles farther south on 27 is Haines City. And if you sneeze, you miss it.
All right. So you were probably well known there too.
No,
No? No.
I mean, I was very busy working. I worked construction, so 60, 70-hour work weeks was pretty much normal.
Okay. So tell us, how did you first hear about the villages, and then what made you move here?
We were watching Fox News, and they used to have a bunch of commercials on the villages. And we realized, we'd been here in Florida for about 6 months, and we realized, hey, you know what? That's really close by. So, it a little over an hour's drive up 27. We drove up here the first time, and it was like, this is kind of nice. There was something about the first time we came here, it just felt right.
Around what year was
Yeah.
that, or what time
That
frame?
was about 2007.
Okay.
Wow.
Back then, the model homes were in the village of St. James, north of
Was
466.
Sumter built by then? Was
Yeah,
that
Lake Sumter Landing was built then. That's where the sales office was that we first met our realtor, Roy Robertson. We pestered him for a very long time, but it took us another 5, maybe 6 years before we decided it was time to move here.
Wow.
And
What was the struggle? What was the
we were
going back
working.
and forth? Oh,
I was working. Debbie was working at Disney. It's funny because she was about 20 miles from Disney, but it took her as long to get from our house in Haines City to work as when we moved up here to the villages. So now she's 60 miles away, but it took her the same amount of time for the drive, just
wow.
because of the traffic on 27 and I-4. It was horrendous.
Wow. Oh, that's torture.
But it felt right. So we kept coming back, and we just it always felt right. And then the catalyst for finally making the decision was I came home from working in Fort Lauderdale. I'd been down there all week. I was working construction, and Debbie was sitting on the couch, and I could tell something was wrong. You're married for this many decades. You kind of know when things are going on. Finally she says, I'm bored and I'm lonely.
Oh.
And I said, okay. then it's time we make a change. And we probably looked at a dozen, 15 different retirement communities because we were in our early 50s then. And we said, yeah, maybe it's time to start thinking about this. And everybody did the same thing. Every place we went, they compared themselves to the villages. Oh, we're better than the villages because of this. We're better than the villages because of this. Wait a minute. If everybody's better than the villages, something's got to be right about the villages, and at that point we did a lifestyle preview, and the deal was sealed at that point. And
I just watched a video. Somebody posted in one of my Facebook groups a throwback of a 1990 promo video that they used to send you, and it had Harold Schwartz, and it
yeah.
had like the kids. I say the kids; they're older than I am, but that run it now, and they were probably like in their 20s or 30s or something. But it was interesting that the program has never changed. It's to live like a millionaire, to retire like and free golf for the rest of your life was kind of the thing. But it was a really interesting video to go back and watch from 1990.
Interesting.
I
So
mean,
interesting.
it is interesting to see, and Jennifer, Tracy, and Mark are the third generation of the family. Their kids are involved,
Right.
and their grandkids are starting to get involved with the whole process. And it is, they do a phenomenal job. It's really impressive.
It's amazing. I wonder how many other companies like this there are where you have so many generations of a family continue to run it and run it so well and keep it in the family.
I honestly don't believe it's about the money anymore.
It can't be.
Yeah.
It can't be.
They love what they do.
Yeah.
And I say that, I mean, I've met Mark for about 10 seconds at his office. I said hello, he said hello, he went to his office, and I continued with the business I was doing. And I've met Jennifer one time when they were opening a Zelle. I think we spoke for 2 minutes, and then she had things to do. That's my whole relationship with it. But I'm a student of the villages, let's call it that.
Yeah.
I study it and understanding what's going on, and you get to start to understand some of the backstory about what's happening here. And it's an amazing community.
I never somehow thought it was about the money. I always felt like it was about a legacy. Leaving a legacy to their family, and their future generations, as well as giving,
It could be, but when you're
people.
a family of that stature, your children, your grandchildren don't have to do this if they don't want to.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So at some point, I don't know. I mean, you might be right. It could be about legacy.
Yeah, Paul asked that question when we went to the first, welcome meeting with the family, and he actually did ask that question. He said he did ask them, you probably don't need to do this. Why do you? And they just said because they basically drilled down to they just love it. They just love doing it. So anyway, Don, remind us what village again you live in, and why did you decide to live in that area versus another area?
I live in the village of Hillsborough. Why Hillsborough? Well, that's what they were selling at the time. And, I mean, Hillsborough, we're just
Really
down-
is very central now.
When I,
Or you were down south then.
oh my gosh, when we did our lifestyle preview, it was in September, and they had just started work south of 466A, and we drove down all the way down there. And Debbie's comment was, who would want to live all the way down here? And it's like, now it's central, and it's just normal now. But that's what they were selling at the time.
And you wanted a new home.
Well, what was driving us was the dogs. Okay, we were looking for a place that would be good for the dogs, and we were thinking invisible fence was going to be a necessity. But then we did our lifestyle preview, and they put us up in a courtyard villa, and it was
That's how they get you.
So we were in this Fairmont. I think it was a Fairmont or whatever the sided version of it was, and we were like, wait a minute, this is big enough. This would work, and it's got a fenced-in yard.
Is that what you have now, a courtyard villa?
Yeah, our home is a courtyard villa. Actually, we are literally on the corner of Hillsborough Trail and Buena Vista. There's a traffic circle right there. And if you hit that corner, there is a courtyard villa community, And the house on the corner has a big pool bird cage, and it's all lit up at night, and that's my house.
Now we all know.
I know.
Yeah.
We'll show up for the
Most
pool
people
party.
know where it is. Yeah.
And so all in all, just remind us, how long have you lived in the Villages?
10.5 years.
10.5 years.
Yeah.
So he's one of our longies. We've had people ask for people who've been here a longer time, and that's one of the longer ones.
Yeah.
10.5 years. And how many times have you moved within the Villages?
Still in Hillsborough.
You're still in Hillsborough, but you bought another house in Moultrie
Yeah,
Creek, and
and Debbie's moving down there, so
that's
so this will be for her too. And we're gonna leave it at that.
okay.
I'm getting too old for this moving stuff.
Yeah.
And would you consider yourself a snowbird, a snowflake, or a frog, or something else?
I'm a frog. I'm here till I croak.
Okay, someone who knows what it is right away. And are you retired, or are you working full-time or part-time?
Yes.
Yes, he's retired.
Yeah.
And
So yeah, I retired 6.5 years ago from construction, and then a year later I started my own business, which is Gold Wingnut Productions, which now keeps me quite busy. But right after we moved here, I got involved with the district government. I was a district supervisor for CDD 10 for 7.5 years until the governor asked me to take on the position of County Commissioner. So, that keeps me busy.
You must have really good time management because,
No, it's terrible.
well,
I
how do
I
you
don't sleep
do a
much.
YouTube channel, commissioner work, and social? You probably play golf, even though you say you're not good, but you probably play golf, all your social activities. Like, how do you, the time management of that? And then all
You
your
just-
couple, and then all your coupley things that you do with your wife.
You just don't slow down. You don't
Yeah.
stop. I mean, it's better to burn out than to fade away.
I like that one.
Comes from a song, but I figure I'm not gonna go sniveling and whining into my grave. I'll go with a $50 glass of scotch and a $30 cigar, falling in my grave laughing. And I'll be busy doing something on the way.
Sounds good.
And with regards to your businesses, we'll put the link in the description of the video so that if you would like to connect and watch Don's YouTube channel, or you can connect with it if you don't already know. Do you have a favorite venue for enjoying live music and dancing? You just quoted a musical quote. So
Do you and your wife dance?
My wife likes to dance. I don't dance. I have two
You
left
applaud?
feet.
Okay.
I cannot dance. I have no sense of rhythm. I am very conscientious about making a fool of myself, and I would do that very quickly if I tried to dance. But my favorite venue I think is Brownwood. I mean, it's unique because it has the stadium seating, so you get a good stage. You can, if you're up in the stadium seating, the benches there, you get a good view of the band. It's just a beautiful area, and it's closest to my house. That's the real bottom line, I think.
And we've heard the band say that they like playing there too.
Yeah. Relic said that they that's their favorite place too.
Relic.
Yeah.
I'll go wherever Relic's going. They're awesome to listen to.
Aren't they?
All right. Don, can you tell us your best pizza in the Villages, or if it's outside of the Villages, we'll take it.
That's going to go to Paisano over in Lake Deaton Plaza.
Very
Okay.
popular.
We keep
In
hearing
fact,
that one.
we had leftover pizza yesterday for lunch, and it was their spicy Italian pizza, and it was just awesome.
Oh,
Or
okay.
spicy meat pizza, whatever.
Okay. Do you have what is your favorite restaurant if you're looking to splurge?
Looking to splurge.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, I've been to Anglers Club many times. It's very nice. It's very, very nice. But generally, I think Prima in Brownwood.
I like Prima.
Yeah, the food is awesome. They have a what do they call it? It's a pork chop on the menu.
Ribeye.
Yeah.
The ribeye. Pork ribeye.
The pork ribeye. Oh my gosh.
It's very good.
PJ at Chop House claims that they have the best pork chop.
Well, that's a tough claim to make, because I'll tell you what, that one at Prima, it has my stamp of approval. I'll tell you, I love. But kill a pig, I'll eat it. I don't
Oh,
care.
okay. What about a favorite spot for breakfast or brunch?
Oh, that's easy, Daryl's.
Daryl's
Daryl's, okay.
Diner.
Yep,
That's
over in
popular.
Pinellas Plaza. I go there every Saturday morning for breakfast.
Oh, wow.
And now we know where to meet you for breakfast too.
It's after I make a fool out of myself on the golf course.
Okay. What's your best advice for airport transportation?
It really depends on how long you're going to be gone. If you're going to be gone less than 2 weeks, drive your own car. I mean, by the time you pay for the groom
van,
shuttle,
yeah.
You come out ahead, and your car is right there. When we went to Alaska 2 years ago, yeah, I think it was 2 years ago, and we were gone 12 days, and it cost us less to park at the airport than it would have cost us for the round trip on the Village's shuttle. But if you're gonna if it's the end of the season, you're going back, then take the shuttle. But or if you have a friend, even better.
I like the friend idea.
Yeah, I mean that's really the best.
Okay. What about favorite pool and or golf course?
Well, favorite pool is the one in my backyard. Okay. That's why I built it. The local pools are, the public pools are nice. They're very beautiful. But you can't sit there and have a glass of wine
That's true.
No,
while
you
you're sitting
can't.
in the water, or
Or float around in it.
Right. At 5 o'clock in the morning, if I get up and I decide I'm going to go for a dip, and I'm going to take the dogs with me, that's the other thing you can't do. My golden retriever.
They go in the water? They
Yeah.
love it, I guess.
Oh,
huh?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's cute.
But so that would be pool. What was the other part of the question?
Favorite golf course?
Oh,
Or
golf course.
courses.
Well, for championship course, it's going to have to be. Oh my gosh, it's right there where they do the plays. I'm trying to remember the name of it.
Tierra del Sol.
Tierra del Sol. Yes, thank you. That's my favorite championship
Yeah,
course.
it's beautiful.
It's a beautiful course. It's
Filled in.
challenging. Other than that,
Or executive?
Magnolia.
Oh,
Or excuse me, Mangrove. Mangrove.
Mangrove.
Ah.
That's
Yeah.
a tougher one, right?
It's not too bad.
I think they're still getting the water out of there, right?
They're
I
gonna
drove
be
by.
they're gonna be for a long time because
Oh.
the water level in there is dictated by the water level in Evans Prairie. This is Florida. They call it a prairie. Some places call it a swamp. Some places call it a bayou. It's still a swamp. But the Evans Prairie Golf Course and Mangrove Golf Courses are directly connected to that natural body of
They have
water.
natural water there. That's the thing.
And there's no natural outlet for it.
Right.
So they have to
It's
pump it
natural
out.
water.
Yeah.
Well, I drove by golf cart. I had a doctor's appointment this morning, and I whizzed by there, and all of the sprinkler, they're going, and of course there's one right in the golf cart path, and you're
Yeah.
kind of like this when you
I know the
go
one.
through. Do you have a favorite activity in the villages?
Well, I mean, obviously I like golf. I'm not very good at it, but I enjoy
What about
it.
besides golf? Is there any?
Well, okay. We got a drone flyers club here in the villages.
okay.
That's obviously one of my favorites. But
Did you start it?
Yes, I did. I started it 6 years ago.
How many members do you have?
I think right now we got about 150 members.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, you can't all fly your drones at the same time, can you? In
Sure.
your club? You can. Where do you
Sure.
go fly them?
Just depends. I mean, Tuesday mornings we have one of the ball fields over at Soaring Eagle, and Thursday mornings some of us get together over by Edna's. You go.
So
about
do you all meet and go, okay, everybody get your drone out, let's...
No, I mean, people fly for different reasons. Improving your own skills, things like that. It's one of those hobbies it's an individual hobby, but when we get together, it gives us an opportunity. Somebody's having problems.
I was going to say, you
know.
share tips and tricks?
Yeah. I mean, we have a lot of experienced pilots, and
Wow.
they all, just like myself. I mean, 7 years ago when I first started flying drones, I knew nothing about them. My
Are
wife.
there any anything that's prohibitive with drones here in the villages that people should be aware of?
Basically, no. You can't fly over the electrical substations. You can't fly over people. So, I mean, I have flown in Brownwood many, many times. Same thing in Lake Sumter Landing in Spanish Springs. But if there's a band playing there, you can't fly over the people.
Really?
Okay, so you're not allowed to fly over groups of people. So, when I fly there,
Yeah.
I fly in the morning.
Okay.
At 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, there's nobody there, it's not a problem. But, if there's a band there, then you can't do it.
Well, I think I know the answer to this one then. What's your favorite club in the Villages?
Drone players.
Don't buy some.
Golf cart, gas or electric?
Gas.
Okay. Do you have a favorite beach that's within driving distance? Are you in Debbie Beecher?
No, not really.
No. What do you have any favorite place or places that you bring visitors when they come to visit?
Brownwood is always right high on the list. Eisenhower, the Eisenhower Rec Center.
That is pretty
It's a
phenomenal.
beautiful rec center.
Yeah.
And then, normally we'll take somebody to Eisenhower, we'll show them that. And then, depending on what we know their interest is, interest. All right, let's try that with a new tongue. Depending on what their interests are, we'll figure out which one we want to go to after that and show them.
Do you look and see what bands are playing and then take them accordingly to their interest or your interest?
I'll look that day, if they want to catch the live entertainment. Normally after a full day of running around here in the Villages, we're like, okay, let's go home. We'll cook some burgers on the grill and relax for the evening.
Okay. What would be your best kept secret in the Villages that you would be willing to share?
You know what it is? It's outside the Villages. Okay.
What is it?
The Villages is beautiful and it's great and there's so much to do. Too many people though get stuck inside the bubble. The surrounding area, Sumter County. Go down to Lake Panasoffkee, Bushnell, Webster. The outlying communities are really phenomenal. Some great people, some great little restaurants all over the place.
What's one or two great restaurants you'd like to share?
So
Everybody's always looking for something, else to try.
I haven't been there in a while, but like Catfish Johnny's over in Lake Pan, really good food.
I haven't heard of it.
No.
Catfish Johnny's.
There's, I don't know, most of them. I look for the hole in the wall.
I like those.
I've been riding a motorcycle pretty much all my adult life, and when we stop for lunch, we don't stop at McDonald's. We stop. We find some. Hey, look! There's 3 cars out in front of that little tent.
Oh, wow.
Right.
We would look for the.
They usually have the best food.
They do. They
You know what my
absolutely
favorite hole in the wall is? The freezer in Homosassa.
do. Okay.
So someone I know took a visitor there, and they told him it was a dive, and they went, and the visitor said, "Are you kidding? We're going in there. Is this a joke?" And I've eaten there. It's fabulous. Peel and eat shrimp in a
Oh.
bucket. It's delicious.
I
I
like
like the hole in the wall places too.
Yeah, the one right there on 301.
Oh, shucks.
Oh shucks.
Is that good?
Oh my God!
I-
No,
I've
it's,
had
it's not
oysters there.
good. It's not good. It's fabulous. It's
Oh.
absolutely
Don't tell anybody.
fabulous.
No.
I mean,
Okay.
Their
let's-
parking lot is always packed.
there's a reason.
Looks like a hole in the
The
wall.
food is good. The beer is cold. I've gone there numerous times. I'll get takeout and bring it home just because the food is just awesome.
All right.
What-
And the portions are generous.
Okay. What's your advice for making new friends?
Put your iPad down, get out of the house, and go to one of the rec centers, go to one of the club meetings. Too often people get stuck like this.
Right.
There's no life in that.
Yeah.
Get out. Just put down the phone, put down the iPad, put down the laptop, and just go. If you can't find something that you're interested in to do here in the Villages, it's your own fault, because there's, with the way we got 3,000 plus social clubs and that,
Right.
there's something to do for everybody.
Right.
And if there's not, start the club yourself.
That's right.
That's what we do with the drone club.
What was something that surprised you after moving here?
Something that surprised me. Wow. Like most, I had preconceived notions. And one of those was that the developer ran everything. And what I found out quickly, because I got involved with the district government right away, was that they actually don't run squat. They try very hard to stay out of the day-to-day running. Once a village is built, they're gone. They're history. They don't want anything to do with it.
They hand it over
Yeah,
to the
it's given to the it's
district.
handed over to the district government, and that so that surprised me. It's not a company town, but they still, the fact that they're still here,
Yeah.
that they're still building. I mean, it's been what, 30 some years. That helps drive the community. It really does, and I hope they never stop building, because the amount of jobs that it'll cost this community is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
What's something you learned how to do after you moved here?
Well, I'd like to say golf, but I'm still
Your
learning.
your golf partners would beg to differ.
Yeah. Something I learned to do. I mean, I learned how to fly a drone here.
What sparked your interest in drones?
I saw them in Best Buy a couple of times, and then my wife bought me one for Christmas 8 years ago. She forgot I have this little OCD spark in my brain that, thanks to the Navy. And I learned everything I could as quickly as I could, and I got real interested. And so by April, I had bought another drone. And,
Oh, boy.
And then by November, I bought one of the ones I fly today.
Okay.
And
Kept upgrading.
yeah, I think I have 9, 10 drones right now. Yeah.
What was something you wish you knew before moving here?
Oh, that's easy. I wish I would have known what a good deal retirement was. Yeah, I mean, I came here, we came here for the social aspect, and it was great. But I continued to work for another 4 years. Debbie continued to work for another 2 years. And when I retired, I was like, all of a sudden, my eyes opened. It's like, wait a minute. And I'm looking at my friends going, you guys didn't tell me this retirement thing was such a great thing.
Yeah.
And they said, well, somebody had to pay our Social Security. But no, I mean, yeah,
What did your family and friends say when you told them you were moving here?
I didn't care.
Okay. All right then. Was anyone shocked?
No,
or-
no. I mean, most of my family is in Colorado. They'd never even heard of the villages. My wife's family is up in Virginia. They'd never heard of the villages either.
So it didn't matter.
No, not really.
Can you complete this sentence? You'll never believe it, but in my life before the villages, What's something we would be surprised to know about you?
I lived underwater for 3 months at a time. On submarines.
What about I really wish the villages had?
I really wish the villages had. Wow. Probably its own airport.
That would be good.
Oh,
I like that one.
That would be an interesting addition. It would come with its own set of problems, of course, but I think it would be an interesting addition. I think they would attract a very affluent crowd. There are airport communities, like especially up in like Ocala.
Right.
Yes.
And then lastly on that one, I think Eastport will be
Fabulous. I mean, obviously with my YouTube channel, I keep a close eye on Eastport. There's not a lot of information out there yet about what's going in there. We know there's a golf cart store and a medical facility and a bank and a rec center and a sales office and a hotel, and that's all that they really said.
Is there going to be a home decor store?
Well, there's one in Middleton going in there.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yes.
But they have kept such a lid on information down in Eastport. It's mind-boggling, and I mean, I know how to dig for this stuff, and I can't find squat.
okay.
Wow.
So speaking of your YouTube channel, you have over 21,000 subscribers, almost 300 videos, and the name of it is Gold Wingnut. And where does that name come from?
So I ride a Honda Goldwing, and when I first moved here, I signed up for Talk to the Villages, and they wanted a screen name. Well, I was a Gold Wingnut because I enjoyed riding a motorcycle, so that's where it came from. But eventually, as I got, everybody knew me as Gold Wingnut, but when I started my business, I said, well, that doesn't really fit well for a flying business. So that's when I split it. Instead of Gold Wing Nut, it's now Gold Wingnut.
Okay.
And so what inspired you, or what made you want to start the YouTube channel, and
Misinformation.
and how long have you been doing it? How long?
I want to say what 6 years I've been doing videos.
Oh, really?
Well,
I thought
maybe
maybe it
7.
was longer.
My first real video was right after Irma.
Oh.
It's still one of my best performing videos.
Wow.
You know, believe it or not, it's taken a huge spike in the last month because of the storm damage.
Right.
Right.
But you know, there was so much misinformation. People would spout off stuff in YouTube videos and online, and because I was involved in the district government, it was my job to know what was going on. And I'm going,
That's not
these
true.
people don't know what the heck they're talking about.
Yeah.
So I
Well, if you look on any of the Facebook group, because there's a lot of information in it,
Next door.
misinformation, information on Facebook groups, next door, blah blah blah. People give their opinion.
Yes.
It's really not. If someone say, "Can I put a tree in my backyard?" and some people, well, I think you should be able to, or blah blah blah. It's like that's not the answer.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I have my opinions, and I have vocalized them many times, but you know, I'm not going to say this is a bad place to live. That's not my job. You know, somebody may find something that they like about an area that there are other aspects that I may not like. That's not my decision to make. My goal is to give you the information. This is what's coming out. This is the village of DeLuna. Okay? To me, we're sitting here, and what's omnipresent to me is I can hear the turnpike. And, you know,
See, I don't hear it.
I don't
But
hear it either.
I told you I lived in New York City for 35 years, so I don't.
all right.
But you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I can tune it out. That
I
doesn't
don't
bother
hear it
me.
either.
But you know, so yeah, it's just a matter of I want to make sure people have good information, you know, and I get lots of questions about, you know, what about this, what about that, and if I don't know, I'll go and find the answer. So
But on that note, sorry, were you gonna?
Yeah, I was going to say on that note as well. You told us earlier that you live right off Buena Vista. Can you hear the traffic on Buena Vista?
you know, when we first moved in, we could because they were building
Oh,
that
all the
whole-
contractors and
the-
landscapers
the-
are coming through.
the cement trucks and
Yeah.
the dump trucks were constantly coming in. I can remember one morning I was going to work up in Gainesville, and from my house right there at the corner of Hillsborough Trail and Buena Vista down to 44. I
Right.
passed 12 cement trucks.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah,
Well-
and I'm like, and this is at like, you know, 5:30 in the morning. I was like, yeah. And then one day, it stopped. And it was just like, wait a minute, what happened? So,
They moved on to the next village.
yeah, they opened up the gate down there by Rohan. Okay, and that's when the traffic started coming up that way. But, you know, I don't really hear it too much. I've got a wall though too. I got a wall, and I got this massive amount of bamboo and palm trees that the district maintains because it's on the other side of the wall.
Yeah.
But
But on that note of like information, you know, dispersing information, how do you decide what topics? Like, I think you have a live.
yeah, I
you
do a live broadcast every Sunday.
You do a drone, something on new construction. But are there other topics that, or is it just something comes up and you're like, oh, I want to talk about this, or I want to.
Well, a lot of it's driven by the feedback I get from my viewers. You know, somebody.
What
has
are
to-
your most requested topics?
I get a lot of questions about the bonds and the amenity fee, and lately, obviously, the maintenance assessment. That's probably, you know, the biggest percentage of questions. But they run the gamut on, you know, all kinds of things. You know, from, you know, who's the best exterminator to, you know, I mean, you know, like you
What-
said, where can I put a tree?
Right. What are some of your favorite segments that you've done?
Well, I think one of my favorites was 137 this past spring, where I talked about the best place to buy in the villages, and it was the area between Middleton and Eastport. I mean, right now,
Is that Walpole? No. Where is that?
That's Moultrie Creek,
Oh.
Shady Brook, Water's Edge, and Lakeside.
And why do you feel it's the best?
You got two. You're gonna have basically two town squares, right on each side. I mean, if you're dead smack in the middle, you've got 3/4 of a mile drive, and you're either in Eastport or Middleton. You know, Middleton's got like a dozen different locations that are scheduled for restaurants.
Are they going to have music there in Middleton?
Not every night.
Oh.
Okay, there will be events happening there, and they got a beautiful stage right there in front of the high school. It's really it's really a beautiful community.
Do you have any unique or funny stories from doing your videos?
No, not really.
None you want to?
None that I want to share.
Have any of your episodes sparked an unexpected connection with viewers, or that have become friends or advisors, or unexpected reactions in general from your videos?
Oh, I've gotten a few reactions from the developer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What did they say?
I've been at odds with the developer over the years.
On what kind of topics?
Basically, anytime I reveal something, they're not ready to be revealed.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
they-
How do you? I don't want to say how do you. I do want to say, but how do you find things that they?
The good old-fashioned way, dig and research. You know, I mean, it's a modern age. Everything is available online. I know lots of different websites to look at. Being in construction for 20 years, I know how to read a set of plans.
Oh, I know.
And I know how to read a lot of these engineering documents. And when you start digging through these, you know, things start really, really,
Clicking.
yeah,
Or,
that you start putting pieces together. And, you know, I mean, yeah, there's, you know, we got 3 championship courses right now that are, one of them is open. They're doing Oak Hollow and they're doing the Meadows, right? Those are 2 under construction. But there's 2 more south of Shady Brook that are going to be built. And that's something that I saw in some drawings last week. You know, and you know, nobody's talking about it because
Did they talk about that? I know we were both at that Park and Rec big meeting when they talked about the golf courses and the rec centers, and it was down at Azell like a month
Yeah.
or so ago. Did they talk about that? I don't remember.
they didn't talk about those. I mean, you know, nothing's been said about those golf courses. But when you look at the drawings, there are certain patterns. You can see the layout of the course and that, and so, and then based on the size and certain other parameters, you can figure out, yes, this is a championship course. Yes, that's going to be a rec center. You know, it's just a matter of there's not a lot of details yet, but they're coming.
Yeah, I remember what was the building that you had seen from your drone, and you knew that it was going to be. It was a recent video that you did, and you said you could tell by. Maybe it was where the air handlers were, or where some kind of mechanical equipment was. That it was some kind of a building, and it hadn't been released yet what it was going to be. Anyway.
Yeah,
That's the kind of thing
there's a lot
Don
of
can
those.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do we know yet what that big sign is that they're building outside of where the new Walmart would be, sort of? Do we know what
So
that
that's on
is
the
yet?
opposite. That's on the opposite
Opposite
corner. Of Walmart. I'm
Not
assuming
Village's property, I don't think.
that's part of the district property.
It is.
Okay. So I don't know what
We
it's
still
going
don't-
to
but
say.
it's very big, as if
Yeah.
it was going to be a Village's sign.
Yeah, I think it is, but you know,
All right, we don't
when
know
I saw
yet.
it being built, I haven't really done any research on it yet, but I saw it. I was like, you know, it seems like awful late in the game to be building a
A
sign.
new sign. Yeah,
Yeah,
we still
so-
don't know. All right. And how long do you spend every week? How much time do you spend every week on your video project, your YouTube channel? You spend.
Let me put it this way:
Endless?
for every minute of video footage that you see in one of my videos that comes out every couple of weeks, there is an hour's worth of editing, sometimes a
Every
little bit more.
minute there's an hour.
So, you know, a 30-minute video is easily 30 to 40 hours of editing.
A whole week.
Well, especially if you're doing a drone, I would think you cut out this.
Right?
The drone,
Do I
the
wanna-
drone flying is the easy part.
Oh.
The drone flying takes about 8 to 10 hours to do all the drone flights. And then it's a matter of editing and cutting it. You know, I put the little
Exactly.
maps on there. Each little element adds an extra layer of complexity. You know,
The
and
voiceovers.
Yeah.
the voiceovers
The
are
circles, the arrows.
Yeah.
Right.
the voice. I love doing the well. No, I don't love doing the voiceovers. I actually hate doing the voiceovers. My
Oh.
wife thinks they're funny as heck. You know, you've seen the Liberty Mutual commercial where the actor can't get his lines right.
Yeah.
He's a pro compared to me. Oh my gosh. The hardest part I have with my video my voiceovers is sometimes I have to try and figure out how to get my wife's laughter out of the background because she's laughing
Maybe you
at
should
me.
leave it in sometime
Yeah,
just
you
for
should
fun.
have some Wingnut bloopers. We need
No,
some.
no. I try and keep it professional.
All right. So back to villages sort of stuff. What advice would you give to someone considering moving to the villages, but they were unsure about the lifestyle?
Come try it. I mean, you know, the whole lifestyle preview program is a great thing. That they make it easy. It gives you an opportunity to experience the community. You know, go to the rec centers, meet some people. That really is probably the best thing that you can do.
Yeah.
I mean, we thought we were sold before we did our lifestyle preview. We came here for our lifestyle preview. It was our, oh my gosh, 35th wedding anniversary, something like
Oh.
that. No, gosh, I don't know. It was for our anniversary, and we thought we were going to move here, but we weren't sure. By the time the second day was over, we're like, okay, we're going here, you know.
That's
And
it.
it's just a matter of timing after that.
There you go. How has living in the villages changed your outlook on retirement and aging?
You know, I used to think somebody in their 60s was ancient, you know, and if you told me somebody was in their 70s or their 80s, I mean, they had one foot in the grave, I thought. You know,
Are they still moving around?
I have so many good friends that are in their 60s, their 70s, their 80s. You know, our friends Ron and Marianne, we play samba with them every Sunday evening. And I think Ron is 84, and Marianne, we won't talk about my names,
Okay.
just to be polite. But yeah, you know, the guys I golf with are in their 70s, and you
And
know,
they're awesome.
yeah,
right?
you know, I mean, I think that the villages keeps you young, or just the level of activity, both mental and physical, has
Social.
such an impact on the quality of life. It's, you know,
I have friends, you know, I belong to a group called 50 something in the villages, but everybody many times will write in the group like, you know, we're so lucky we live here, living the dream. It's beautiful, you know, like all of that. And a lot of people I think do feel fortunate to live here and have this lifestyle because it's different. It's hard to explain to other people until
well,
you
you
come
just
here.
drank the Kool-Aid. Pour me another glass, please. I'm thirsty.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
I mean, I love it here. It's I could not imagine a better place to retire. I really, I mean,
And you said you looked at 12 or so
oh
other
my
places.
gosh,
So
yeah, so many, you know.
let's just cut to the chase.
Yeah, I mean, it really was, you know, they all had something unique. They
All in
had something-
Florida? All in Florida?
Yeah, yeah, all in
Okay.
Central Florida, everywhere from top of the world down to, oh, jeepers, someplace down around Jupiter.
Oh, wow. That's a long stretch.
Yeah, well,
Ish.
we you know,
Hours between.
yeah, and we looked, you know, on the Gulf Coast, we looked on the Atlantic Coast. We saw a lot that we liked, but again, you know, everybody kept saying, wow, we're better than the villages. Well, not everybody can be better than the villages. And
Interesting.
honestly, I don't think there is
Well,
anybody
sometimes
better.
if everybody's comparing against, you know, you've considered that the gold standard
Yeah,
then.
benchmark.
That's right.
Yeah. Have you had any big adjustments, you and Debbie, personally, from before you moved here to after you moved here?
And we spend more time together. I mean, yeah, I mean, I was working 60, 70 hours a week, you know,
Yeah.
in construction. And once I retired, we had a lot more time. We spend more time together, but we're both engaged in different activities. And, you know, So, yeah, it's good. It's good and bad.
And are there any future projects or goals that you have for Gold Wingnut YouTube channel?
Well, I know one of the things I have that I'm working on is gosh, it's been 4 years ago I did my first one. I did a series of videos on the bond, the maintenance assessment, and the amenities. I've flipped through them a couple of times, and oh my gosh, they are terrible. They are absolutely
my.
terrible.
You want to update them, renew them?
I'm going to do, renew them. The information really hasn't changed, but the numbers have changed. So the difference that it makes, bring a fresh perspective and a better editing.
How many videos a week do you publish?
My goal is one video every other week.
Oh, really?
But this time of year, September, October timeframe for me, I've been looking back at my historical, when I do all my videos, and I have always gone through this lull during September and October, and it's because there's so many other things going on at this time, and I get sidetracked. So, I mean, I've started video number 150 3 different times now, and every time I start, I realize, well, this is out of date. I got to go shoot the video again.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a lull when we were both traveling a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I anticipate we might have a lull
Over the
around
holidays.
That's, I mean, honestly, ladies, that's a stake in the heart of your YouTube channel, because you lose your audience.
Yeah.
Well,
They
we try to
want-
do once a week. Before we were doing twice a week,
Yeah.
but we do once a week, and we kind of record something so we have them in the bank.
Yeah,
So
we
that,
try and have some in the bank.
yeah, so that there's always something every week. Like you said, because we don't want to lose
Right.
Yeah.
people.
Fortunately, your content lends itself to that. My content, I mean, if it's more than 2 3 weeks old, it's out of date
Right.
information.
Well,
and
yeah, I don't
it's
think any of ours
crazy.
is more than 2 or 3 weeks old, though. Unless it's when we asked each other, ask a villager.
Yeah.
Although I'd update my tips. And if you could give one tip to anyone visiting the villages for the first time, what would it be?
Give it a chance. I mean, really, give it a chance. So many people make a judgment very quickly. They'll meet somebody that might have a bad attitude, and it
Right.
sets them off. Or they come in with these preconceived notions, God, do I even want to say it? Yeah, it's the STD capital. I mean, there's so many misconceptions. We're a cult, right?
Right.
Now we're not a cult. We're just enjoying life. But yeah, give it a chance and see what it has to offer. It's not for everyone.
That's right.
But you can make a lot of good out of it.
And make a lot of good friends.
Yes. Oh, yeah. That is really the key. I mean, with Debbie and I, we both grew up in Air Force families, and then I was in the Navy. We were married throughout my naval career. We always moved around. So getting to know your friends and your neighbors was critical when you moved to a new community, a new base. Here, it was no different. When we moved here, we made friends with all of our friends in our neighborhood, and our circle of friends has grown tremendously over the last 10 years. I
have to say, I have a new appreciation of military families after living here, because I didn't know a lot. Living in New York City, I'm not around a lot. I have cousins who've been in the military, but those families, like if you need, I think they're even more willing than everybody else to help. Like if I had a friend take me to a doctor's appointment that was really early in the morning, I asked another friend and they were like, oh, that's kind of early. But when I asked this friend, and I'm not saying it's because she's a military, but I'm just noticing this characteristic in different people. She was like, no problem. It doesn't matter what time. I'm there. I'm your person. I'll do it, whatever. All of them are, anything you need, I can do it, because they're all there to help each other. And I really have a new appreciation for that.
Yeah, I mean, that was, I was on submarines. We were gone 3 months at a time. So my wife relied on the other wives and our other neighbors. When oh, windshield wipers broke, so should knock on the next door neighbors. Can you help me? He goes, yeah, sure. Why? Because he knew that when I was home and his wife came and knocked at the door, I would be there for them. And, you know,
Right.
you learn to support each other.
Yeah.
And, you know, I see a lot, like you, I see a lot of that here in the villages.
And the last question that I have prepared, and we, you know,
Okay.
something else might come up. What has surprised you the most about the community's reaction to your YouTube channel?
I am still surprised how many people watch it. I guess the ones that surprise me the most are the men and women who are in construction. The biggest thing I hear from them is, it's the only way we know what's coming. Yeah, they don't know. They're too busy working every day.
Oh,
Now-
the people who are actually the construction
yeah,
workers here?
the construction
Ah.
worker. And the other is the sales reps. I've probably talked to 50 sales reps, and they all say the same thing. Oh, we get our best information from you.
I think when you did the video about the assessment, you know, was it District 14, that one? Like a lot of them use that to explain to clients,
Yeah.
you know, use that as a referral
Yeah, I mean,
or reference. Sam. Somebody's
Sam
getting
knows
impatient.
Sam knows what we're toward the end of the video. All right.
I think that's it.
All right, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So
Thank
much
you for having me.
You're such a busy guy. Thanks for taking the
Oh.
time to hang with the ladies of the Lanai today. And we hope that you really enjoy our channel and the special guests and content that we bring to you. Tina and I really do it with a lot of passion and a lot of barking in the background. And if you please take a moment to like and subscribe our channel, because it really makes us happy and makes us want to do more for you guys. So
Thank you.
thanks a lot, and see you on the Lanai.
Bye. Thank you.